What's up, guys? It's Chris for DAV1D on ECF Aerovapor on YouTube and Vapor Talk. I definitely think I'm going to have a blooper reel at the end of this video because this is like take 6. We're just going to get through it. So, what I got today for you is the mini Lavatube. I know I'm a little bit late to the party on the Lavatube. Everybody and their mother, sister, brother, wife, husband has reviewed it. However, because of some of those reviews, I was weary about getting it. So I ended up getting one, just the unit, and 2 batteries for a good deal. I kind of wanted the mini also. I don't have a lot of miniature things in my life, so I figured I would add one to the arsenal. But I liked the compact size of it, so I got it. Like I said, the reason I didn't get it sooner was because all this talk about how it has this safety mechanism in it that cuts you off if you try to use certain ohms at higher voltages. You know, it won't let you fry a carto or like really turn it up high with low ohms. So I was weary. Finally, like I said, I got the opportunity to get one at a pretty good deal, so I said screw it, let me get it to try it and review it. So here it is. Right now I have a 2 ohm Bogue low resistance carto tank at 4.2 volts. Performing excellent. So before I get into anything, let me show you the actual device. It's pretty small, fits in the palm of your hand. One thing I absolutely despise about this device, one of the very few things, is button placement. I cannot tell you how many times that I have to button hunt when going to activate this or use it. If I pull it off of my nightstand and it's dark in the room or whatever, the placing of the button is just not where you would expect. When you go to use a device, myself at least, I'm looking for a button right around here, around my thumb. This one, the button is all the way down here. I'm assuming that's because of the circuitry, because you have the screen right here, so they actually had to go lower than the circuitry with the button. However, it makes you kind of almost hold it on your tippy fingers, like the tips of your fingers. It doesn't bother me. I've started to get used to it to the point where I automatically go to it now, but it does sometimes where I'll have to spin it around and kind of hunt for the button. The look of it is nice. It's a metal tube with plastic end caps. It takes one 18350 battery. Looks like this. Positive side in, cap screws on. The cap has these kind of like little ribbed edges, so if you put it on the table it won't roll as easily. Has a vent hole in the bottom that goes straight through, which you're definitely not seeing there. Wow, what the frig? Sorry. There it goes. So, it's a little rattly, but come to find out, it's actually not the circuitry or the button that's rattly. It is these little up and down buttons. They sit very flush up against the unit, as you can see there. Like, you really have to push them. Like, it's not like you're just going to accidentally do it. There's a mechanism on here where if you hold the up and down button down at the same time, it'll lock your voltage so you don't accidentally or inadvertently change your voltage. However, I can't even see having that issue on here because you really have to try and hit the button. If you click the power button 5 times, it'll give you your voltage left in the battery, so the remaining battery power. I got 4.0 left in there. Unlike the Provari where it's like 5 click, you know, to power up, and then you hit it 1 each time for powering up or turning your voltage up and down. This one, there's 2 buttons, an up and a down. So up, I'm at 4.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, I'm at 4, 3, 2. So very easy to change your voltage up and down. It has a little bit of a juice like well in here, so if you over drip or you get a leak on one of your cartos, it's going to catch a juice so it doesn't go into the mod. I haven't had issues with any carto tanks on here. They have all made contact with airflow, and I haven't had an issue with any of them not working or having to use an extension on any of them. So the biggest complaint I'm hearing about this through reviews, which was one of the things that kind of kept me from buying it originally, was that it backs off your voltage if you go too high. Like if you have a 2 ohm carto and you set this at 6 volts, it's going to knock you down to whatever the safest voltage is to use with that particular carto. So it's basically going to keep you from frying a carto by using it at high voltages. For me, I have yet to have that interfere with my vaping whatsoever. I have a 2 ohm Bogue set at 4.5 volts. If I go any higher than 4.5 volts, you can tell that it's kind of locking itself there and it's not letting you go any further. But I wouldn't vape a low resistance carto higher than 4.5 volts because all you're going to do is get a burnt taste, the flavor's going to go, it's going to taste like crap. If you use a higher ohm addy, if you use a higher ohmed addy, it'll let you go all the way up to 6 volts. But like I said, I have never ever had it interfere with me getting a really solid, satisfying vape. Everybody's taking it, comparing it to the Provari. It's very similar to the Provari. You can dial in your voltage by, 0.1 volts per time. So in that sense, it's very similar with the range that it has of a Provari. And in and of itself, to me, thinking back to when I would use my Provari, I had a Provari for a year, I am getting as just of a satisfying vape out of this as I am for a Provari. The difference is this is $60, Provari is $160. I have yet to have it interfere with me getting a good vape. If you take a hit of this and you review it and then take a hit of a Provari and go back and forth, you're probably gonna see a difference. But then again, I have a 40-inch TV that's Element brand I got for $2.99 on Black Friday. It looks excellent. TV works beautiful. However, if you put a $5,000 Mitsubishi brand TV next to it, my TV is probably going to look like garbage. So that's my point, is you really can't compare them back to back. You're going to see a difference. You're absolutely probably going to see some sort of a difference between the two. But in and of itself, taking just this device and taking the Provari out of the equation, it works perfectly. Like if I take this off and I put on a 4 ohm Vision carto that I got with a mod that has juice all over it, and I crank it up to 6 volts, it works perfect, and it's putting out every bit of that 6 volts. People have put it on meters, and actually, like if you set it at 6 volts, it's actually going to like 6.2 volts. So that way the loaded, with a carto on it, the loaded voltage is going to be closer to 6 volts than if this was a solid 6 volts without a carto on it. So without unloaded, it's probably about 6.2 volts. But on a 4 ohm I'm just going to keep going. At a 4 ohm carto at 6 volts, it performs incredible. I don't know if you can hear that, but it has a super clicky button, which I really love. So in and of itself, if you take this and you take the Provari out of the equation, it works excellent. It has satisfied me every bit in the last couple of weeks I've used it. I have had no issues where it's restricting me on any level to where I'm not getting a satisfying vape. It's just keeping you from frying a carto or going up so high that you're just going to get a nasty burnt taste. I could still put some like 1.7 ohm smoktekk cartos on here and crank it up enough to where I'm like, ooh, that tastes like garbage, and have to back it down because it gets like a little bit of a burnt flavor in there. So it really isn't that restricting in my opinion. And it has just been working, like I said, it's just been working really, really well. So again, if you compare it to the Provari, it's not going to be the same quality. It's going to be, you know, obviously the device is going to be less quality than the Provari, since the Provari is $160 and you can get this for 60 bucks. But in and of itself, it works perfect. Flawlessly for me. I have had no issues. Here's where you have the issue. If you were to take a dual coil, crap. Here we go, sorry. If you were to take a dual coil carto or a dual coil tank, no matter what voltage you put it at, a 1.5 ohm dual coil, it's going to knock you down. So like I have this at 6 volts right now, that's definitely not running at 6 volts. It's knocking you down to around 3.4 volts because it's a 1.5 ohm dual coil carto. So here's the deal breaker and what I would suggest. If you use a lot of dual coil cartos, then it's probably not for you. But if you're looking for a variable voltage mod that you can dial up and down, that's easy to use, gives you a solid vape, and is good quality, then I absolutely 100% would recommend it. For people who are on the fence about the Provari because they don't want to spend, you know, over $200 with the 18650 end cap. If you don't want to spend that, but you want to have that similar vape and that similar type of mod, then this is absolutely worth every penny. You can get 2 to 3 of these for every one Provari, and I just haven't had any issues with it. Like I said though, if you use dual coils, that's the only place I'm finding where you're really going to take a significant hit and where it's going to affect your vape quality. Other than that, it has no effect, and I have had no effects of it tuning me down or toning down the vape on me when I get to a certain level. Generally, like low resistance, you're going to be vaping between 3.7 and 4.5 volts, and it lets you do every bit of that, so I haven't had any issues. As it is, this video has gone on too long. There's a lot of people talking about this, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of comparing to the Provari, and it's very similar. However, you're just not going to be able to use dual coils the way you would on another device. However, if you take a dual coil on the old version 1 Provari, you can't use that properly either because at 4.1 volts it stops working. I had dual coils that I couldn't use past 3.4 volts on the Provari. So considering what you're paying for this and what you're getting, it is an excellent deal. I love it. I am going to continue to use it. And I think for me it was money well spent. And for a vapor who's on the fence about wanting a Provari and that kind of vape and that kind of mod, then I absolutely recommend going and getting one of these. You could get them just about anywhere at this point. They're called a million different things. The main name is the Lavatube. I got this one at evaporclouds.com. But you can get them anywhere. I'm definitely going to have a blooper reel at the end of this video because this just did not go well. So, again, I recommend it. Thank you very much for watching. I know I'm late to the game on this. I was just very nervous as far as all the reviews I was seeing with buying it. But I did, and I'm glad I did because it is working excellent for me. The only time I'm having issues is with dual coils. Again, Christopher DAV1D on ECF, Aerovapor on YouTube. Comments, questions, hit me up, and I'll see you guys later. Stay tuned for these. I can't say anything. Stay tuned for the blooper reel, which will probably include that. So big difference in price. Fuck. God, if I... Sorry. Oh my god, this Lavatube rocks. Whoop, whoop. It's gonna look like shit.
No, don't say that one.
Sorry. Excellent. I have never hit a point with this. Man, I'm never gonna get through this. I have never hit a point with this where it's not satisfying me, or it's keeping me from getting a satisfaction.